Hi, good morning, good afternoon. It's 1 o'clock. Thanks all for being here. It's great to see bodies in the room. I am Holly Messett. I'm one of the co-chairs. Brenda Volman is standing next to me. We're just going to introduce the core team of the Middle State Self-Study, and then we'll introduce the president, and we will give you a little overview of what the objectives are. We'll go over BMCC's mission and our strategic priorities. And then we would like to introduce and recognize everyone who's on the working groups. So thank you all for being here. And I'm going to turn this over to Brenda. She'll say hello.
I'm just a little bit shorter. Hi, I'm Brenda Volman, one of the co-chairs of Middle States, and we're happy that you guys are here. I can't wait to hear how the president is going to kick us off. This is a really exciting time, I think, so hopefully you will as well. And so Holly and myself, along with Musa, he can introduce himself as well, and Lisa are our core team, so we'll let them introduce themselves, and then Lisa's going to bring on the president.
So my name is Musa Bullock. I am the ALO, the Accreditation Liaison Officer. Sorry. So there we go. Okay. Yeah. So yeah, if you heard me, I'm the ALO. So I operate as the point person, and it's been a pleasure working with everyone so far. Okay. So okay.
Hi, good afternoon. I'm Lisa Jones. I'm your interim or acting provost, and I'm kind of like the person that corrals the other three and y'all to make sure that we stay on time, hopefully on budget, Julio, and ready to go for 2027. And it is my esteemed honor to introduce a gentleman who actually doesn't really need an introduction. He has spent his entire career in service to students, faculty, staff, communities, to uplift students in education, and to create spaces and places for people to succeed. And so with that, I'd like to introduce and bring up to the podium to kick off this special event, our president, Dr. Anthony Monroe.
Thank you. Can we give Dr. Jones, Dr. Volman, Dr. Messett, and Dr. Elbulak a round of applause, please? A real serious one. Before I get into these prepared remarks, I just want to thank you, Beth and Holly and Musa and Liesel and so many others, because when we met virtually some months ago, and we were talking about the incredible and important and tremendous amount of work that needs to be done, not because we're behind, but because we're so good. Both of you just said, sure, let's do it. And you have not stopped since. You haven't said, slow down. I want to get off of this train. You both have stayed very much focused. I want to thank the two of you for all that you've done so far. Let's give them another round of applause. Good afternoon, everyone, and thank you for the warm introduction, Dr. Jones. It is an absolute pleasure to be here today to officially kick off Borough of Manhattan Community College's Middle States Commission on Higher Education Self-Study. And just a note, self-study is a process, and you'll hear more about this, for institutions to look at what they're doing, how they're doing, as it relates to the standards established by the accrediting body. So it is a reflective and a very inclusive process. I'm grateful for your presence and for your commitment to this vital process. And I want to thank you, Holly and Brenda, for organizing this event and for your dedication to leading us through this self-study. Your expertise and guidance will be invaluable as we navigate the coming months and even years. As many of you may know, accreditation by Middle States is an absolutely critical process for all institutions of higher learning, and definitely here at BMCC. It's a validation of our commitment to providing high-quality education to our students, and a seal of approval that assures our students, our community, and the wider world that we meet rigorous standards of excellence. Accreditation allows us to maintain eligibility for federal financial aid, enabling countless students to pursue their educational dreams. It also strengthens our reputation and enhances the value of a BMCC degree. This self-study is more than just a review. It's an opportunity for deep reflection and institutional improvement. It's a chance to examine every facet of our operations, from academic programs to our student support services, from our financial stability to our commitment to equity and inclusion. We will be rigorously evaluating our strengths, identifying areas where we can improve, and developing a concrete plan to address those areas. This self-study will be guided by the 7 standards required by Middle States, requiring deep introspection and a commitment to transparency. I encourage each of you to participate actively, to share your insights, and to contribute to a process that will shape the future of our college. Specifically, as outlined on our website and stressed repeatedly, this self-study will be a collaborative effort. It will involve faculty, staff, students, and administrators from across the college. Your diverse perspectives and experiences are essential to ensuring a comprehensive and accurate assessment. I'm particularly pleased that we have such a talented and dedicated team of individuals leading this effort. From our Accreditation Liaison Officer, or ALO, Dr. Musa, whose role Dr. Holly and Dr. Brenda will be elaborating on shortly, to the co-chairs, liaisons, and members of the working groups who will also be introduced to, will have assembled a group that is passionate about BMCC and committed to our mission, which is crucial that we keep front and center, ensuring it resonates throughout every single aspect of this self-study. As you know, our BMCC mission, vision, values, and priorities guide our decision-making and inform our strategic goals. These core tenets will be pivotal in analyzing our current standing and developing a roadmap for the future. Holly and Brenda will be delving deeper into our mission, vision, values, and priorities shortly. I'm confident that this self-study will not only demonstrate our compliance with Middle State standards, but will also serve as a catalyst for innovation and growth. By working together, we can ensure that BMCC continues to be a beacon of opportunity for our students and a vital resource for our community. I want to emphasize my unwavering support for this process. I'm committed to providing the resources and assistance you need to succeed, and I encourage you to reach out with any questions or concerns. Thank you again for your commitment to BMCC. Let's embark on this journey together and create a self-study that truly reflects the excellence and potential of our college. Thank you.
right, thank you, President Monroe. So we're just going to go ahead and we have a PowerPoint here. Hopefully we'll stay on target. Let me just do this here. So as was mentioned, I mean, one of the things that's already happened is that the design of the study has been submitted to Middle States, and they are reviewing it at this time. And you'll see a date at the end of this presentation that we hope you will all be present for, and then some, when our liaison, with whom Musa is in constant contact, or regular contact, I should say, will be here on campus to find out more, get feedback, and to then be able to offer the best case feedback on our actual design. So that'll be finalized at the end of May. So what we wanted to start with, and some of you have seen a portion of this. Did I do something?
It's okay. We'll do the clicker.
The clicker.
There
Okay,
we
there
go.
we go. All right. So some of you have seen this before, but we're, as was already said, we're all a vital part. I think that's really important. We are the lifeblood, right, of BMCC, as are the students. And there are students here today, and there are students who are on these working groups. That's what we're here for. So that's the most important part. But if you can read that, wonderful. The coloring may not be the best. But as was said, the Middle States Commission on Higher Education, that's what MSCHE stands for. It's a global accreditor, and it's recognized by the United States Secretary of Education for the last almost 75 years. And the accreditation is important, we've already said, because it makes sure we are accountable for what we say we're doing, so that we can be trusted when people want to come here. And we also, the self-study process itself, there's two things that are happening. One, we are meeting the standards of accreditation as, you know, whatever those standards are, we'll outline them. But we also have very specific questions addressing what we want to do as BMCC, how we want to look at ourselves, aside from accreditation. How deep do we want to dig? And we're going to do that. So it's already started. Today is the kickoff of it, and we are so grateful that you guys are here. We're so grateful for the folks who have agreed to commit to the work on this. And we hope that we can lead with as much efficiency and also sort of take the weight off when we can. So I'm going to let Holly talk about the outcomes. Yeah.
Okay, thanks again. I just wanted to play off of what Brenda just said, and the fact that we have faculty, staff, students, administrators who are working on our self-study, I think is a really important aspect of what we're doing, because we all come with our perspectives. We each see a little part of the college, and then as we come together in these working groups and we analyze the data that we're able to gather, we all have our own parts. So every single person's perspective is important. And we've tried to make every opportunity for that to happen so that there'll be constructive conversation across the college. So I think it's one of the major things that happens during our self-study. And so we're really happy to be part of it. So thank you. All right, I'm going to go on to the next slide. It is the Richard Harris Terrace, and we have a lot of light. So it's a good thing and a bad thing when you have a PowerPoint. But I'll read what's up there. So we have 4 intended outcomes for the self-study. The first is to demonstrate how the college currently meets the Commission's standard for accreditation and requirements of affiliation and evidence expectations by standard. The second is to focus on continuous improvement in the attainment of the college's mission and our strategic priorities. The third is to engage the college community in an inclusive and transparent self-appraisal process that actively and deliberately seeks to involve members from all areas of the college community, which is what I just said. And fourth, which we worked on very hard with our steering committee, who we will introduce in a moment, create a comprehensive assessment framework that evaluates the college's adherence to our mission, vision, values, and strategic priorities, and effectively communicates BMCC's story as a leading community college through clear and impactful data, while ensuring the quality of educational programs, learning experiences, and student support services, as well as ensures faculty have opportunities to pursue scholarly activities. So these are the 4 outcomes that we hope. They go from the very basic that we meet the standards, the 7 standards, which we will introduce in a moment, to that we have listened to everybody who's part of the college. So thank you. Yes. Yeah. Okay. So the president just asked us to make sure that we said the standards are the floor. That that is the very basic thing that we are trying to do. But what we really want to know is, are we fulfilling our mission, our values, and our strategic priorities?
Yes, thank you. So one of the concerns or one of the ideas is that we want to know that we exceed. The last outcome was really how we can be the leading community college. And that means we have to go above and beyond the standards, right? We can all do the bare minimum and we might function, but many of us go above and beyond. So again, if you don't already know the mission and the vision of the college, you will get to know them, hopefully. And one of the things that that was suggested to us is that when our visitors come in spring of 2027, that we all are pretty aware of what our purpose is here. So I am going to read the mission, and I will tell you, one of the things that we were asked to do in an institute this past fall was to do the work of aligning our mission with our strategic priorities and then with the accreditation standards. So we've done that particular work. That's in the document that was sent to Middle States. So we've worked on this, but now we're going backwards, right? And we're going to show the evidence that really demonstrates how we exceed at our mission and where we may have shortfalls, because part of this process is to see how we can do better. And I think that we'll have a lot of ideas along the way. So our mission is that, I'm going to abbreviate, BMCC is a diverse teaching and learning community committed to advancing equity and the intellectual and personal growth of students. Working to strengthen a culture of care inside and outside the classroom, we share a passion for learning with students from around the world. We strive to increase degree completion, successful transfer, career achievement, and service and leadership within our community, New York City and beyond. And hopefully you were all nodding your heads. Yes, we do that, but we can't just say it, we have to show it. And so that's what this is about. Our vision is, I actually love our vision. BMCC will be nationally recognized for improving student learning and success, excellence in research and knowledge creation, and for advancing socioeconomic mobility through the transformative power of education. BMCC faculty and staff are committed to strengthening our culture of care and take responsibility for creating the conditions under which all students can learn and all members of the BMCC community can thrive. Teaching and learning at BMCC, both inside and outside the classroom, is culturally responsive and sustaining, deeply engaging, and celebrates the rich diversity of experience and knowledge that the entire community brings to the college. Our students, faculty, staff, and alumni share great pride for BMCC and for our role in creating a better and more equitable New York City. And out of those 2 items, there's more. Holly will get to more, but just so it's clear, we pulled 5 elements from the mission that we aligned. And the first is advancing equity, and hopefully you saw that language in there. Creating a culture of care, which we found to be very important. Academic and career success, and that is measured through degree completion, transfer and employment. Personal and intellectual growth. And the last is civic engagement and community service. And off the top of my head, I can think of a bunch of ways that we're already doing this. And again, our purpose over the next year will be finding all the data points that support that. So I'm going to pass it off to Holly to go over our values and
We're passing off back and forth. Okay, so next slide is our strategic priorities. No, excuse me, our values. I was on the other page before. So these are the values that come off of our mission and our vision. I think maybe some of you who were here it was before pandemic, I believe, but I remember that we were working very, very hard on that mission statement, and there was a lot of input. So I just wanted to recognize anybody who's sitting in the room who had input on that mission statement also. So the values that BMCC lives, that we want to measure ourselves by is, the first one is belonging. Do we create an environment in which all members feel welcome, that they are valued, and that they can succeed? Community. Celebrating the uniqueness of individuals and groups, encouraging connection and participation, taking responsibility and caring for each other. Equity. Working as an engine of upward social mobility to reduce barriers and improve academic, career, and personal success for all, particularly for individuals and groups with less advantage. Teaching and learning. Creating exceptional teaching and learning environments inside and outside the classroom, valuing the experience of knowledge students bring to the classroom, and engaging them in construction of knowledge. Transformation, promoting intellectual, socioeconomic, and personal growth of students and communities, empowering students to improve their lives and the lives of their family, advancing justice through education. And again, these will be the values that we measure ourselves against. I think of Bloom's taxonomy. You know, we have to make them feel included and belong and part of a community before we can effectively teach and they can effectively learn. And I think that our statement of values does a beautiful job of building on of an environment where all people feel valued. Do you want me to go do or do you want to? Okay.
All right. This is so we don't get too exhausted. We're already practicing good time management. All right, so these are our strategic priorities, and many of you may be aware that it was a 2-year process to come up with the strategic priorities, which are actually ending this year. So we'll be in the process of doing this again, but these are the ones that we are beginning with. And these are measured through items that are in Musa's office, I believe. Some of the KPIs is the terminology that I've seen. So these strategic priorities provide a mechanism for determining how successful the college is in achieving our mission. This is not, these aren't accreditation standards. These are the things that we said we wanted to do, and we then actively collect and measure if we're doing this over the period of time that we dedicated. So improve retention to double degree completion rates and increase successful transfer and baccalaureate attainment. Improve learning through culturally responsive and sustaining pedagogy and support. Expand career development leading to meaningful work with family-sustaining wages. Achieve equity in these outcomes in a community college in which all members can thrive, and strengthen BMCC's role in creating an equitable and thriving New York City. So I think we're going to be introducing the standards now. One of what was mentioned earlier was that there are 7 standards. We have 7 working groups populated with co-chairs, 2 co-chairs, and 1 or 2 liaisons. The liaisons are not going to be doing the active co-chair work, and then a variety of members populating each of the working groups. And I'd like to say that, you know, in the standards, there are actually guiding principles, which we don't have a slide for, but I thought it would be important to mention that I think in the past they had separately focused on these, and now it's woven into the accreditation, into each of the criteria that each group is looking at. So the guiding principles, I'll just read the 5, and I have more information if you'd like. The first is the application of the standards within the context of an institution's mission and goals. The second is centrality of the student experience. So this is we have to demonstrate this, and we do have this in our mission already, so it's just a matter of continuing to provide evidence for this. Reflection on diversity, equity, and inclusion. So in spite of anything that may be in the news, this is still a standard that must be adhered to, or a guiding principle. Emphasis on data and evidence-based decision-making. So if you've heard about assessment at the program level, you'll see that we'll be doing this all across the college. And then innovation as an essential part of continuous improvement, and I think we have a lot of those initiatives that we'll get to populate across the 7 standards. So instead of having these as separate items, they're woven into each standard. So I think that's a really important piece to note. And I think so what we will ask is if the co-chairs for each standard would just join us up here so folks can put a face and a name together, and then they can chase you down the hall instead of us. But also, we'll introduce the other folks on the working committee as well. So Holly and I are going to go between the 2 standards. I'll stay up here with you this time, but Holly's going to do standard 1.
The other one last thing before we get to the standards, and that is some of you in this room may have worked on the Middle States self-study that ended in 2017. There has been an update. We were in the 13th edition when we finished in 2027 or 2017. Now that we're doing this one that will end in 2027, we're on the 14th edition. And one of the changes is also that compliance is built into the standards. So we wanted to mention that for those of you who are comparing the 2017 to the one we're doing now. Okay. All right. So first standard is our mission and goals. And this is Middle States language. The institution's mission defines its purpose within the context of higher education, the students it serves, and what it intends to accomplish. The institution's stated goals are clearly linked to its mission and specify how the institution fulfills its mission. So that is standard 1. And the 2 co-chairs for standard 1 are Kathleen Dreyer and Peter Huntis. Are Kathleen and Peter here? One has a family emergency and the other one was not able to be here. So standard 1 co-chairs are not here. The standard 1 liaison, who is a cabinet level administrator who can help weave together gathering of what we need to gather, is Julio Izquierdo. If you want to, thank you. Yes, yes. Thank you. The working group members in group 1 are Jean Amaral. Is Jean here? Okay. Abadou Diallo is a student. Jen Longley. Is Jen Longley here? And Nanette White. Nanette is here. You want to just stand up so they can see you? Our lone working group member here. Thank you so much. So that is group 1, standard 1.
Okay, and sorry, I need to put my glasses on for this. And so we didn't read all the positions here, but there are students, faculty, and staff on each of the standards, so you can see that. And if they are not here, they definitely, last week we started work. We met with all 7 standards, introduced folks, and while the bulk of the work will happen next year, we're initiating folks this year, getting your toes wet so that you know what's going on, especially for folks who are new. So standard 2 is ethics and integrity. And if Henry and Ian, if you're here, I believe you are both here. If you don't mind coming up so we can put a name and a face. I know I saw Henry. He may have, come show your face up here, Henry, so that I can. Thank you. So Henry is an associate professor in social sciences and one of the co-chairs, and Ian is director of student conduct and academic integrity. Is that right?
Yes.
All right, good. And he's also a co-chair. And
We've been bonded.
so, yeah, there will be some great friendships that come out of this for sure. I hope. And please pardon if I mispronounce, but our liaison, the Executive Director of Human Resources, is Gulen Zibizareta. Is that pretty close? Yes. So that's Gulen. And again, our liaisons are the folks who are going to make sure we can get access to some of the data that is not publicly available. That is, I mean, that's just a matter of course for privacy reasons, et cetera. And then I'm just going to read the names of the other folks here. And if you are here, if you don't mind standing so that we can honor you, we have MSCHE Agu, who is professor of mathematics, Nari An, who is a lecturer in media arts and technology, Cheryl Komu-Kirchner, associate professor in literacy and linguistics, Jennifer Lauren, one of our learning designers in digital education, Eliza Osea Kwapong, if that's correct, Associate Director of Data Analytics and Design in Digital Education, Muhammad Shazaib Qureshi, a student in graphics and animation, and Tatiana Sokar, as she's an alumna and a current student, pre-nursing and in a cybersecurity certificate. And so if we could just give a hand to all those folks. Thank you. And we'll move on to the next standard. Actually, I did not read the standard. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I shall read the standard. This was the part of the point. Sorry. This is the language of Middle States. I'm sorry. Ethics and integrity are central, indispensable, and defining hallmarks of effective higher education institutions. In all activities, whether internal or external, an institution must be faithful to its mission, honor its contracts and commitments, adhere to its policies, and represent itself truthfully. So for each of these standards, the language that you'll be seeing and hearing is expressly designed by Middle States, and that is what we're measuring against. All right.
All right, we're on to standard 3. I'll read it and then I'll have John and James. Is James here? Okay, James isn't, so I'll have John come up. So standard 3 is design and delivery of the student learning experience. An institution provides students with learning experiences that are characterized by rigor and coherence at all program, certificate, and degree levels, regardless of instructional modality. All learning experiences, regardless of modality, program pace, schedule, level, and setting, are consistent with higher education expectations. And for the co-chair for standard 3, I would ask John Beaumont to come up. John, yes, thank you. John is professor and chair of the Academic Literacy and Linguistics Department. And John's co-chair is James Nadeau, who is the associate director of BMCC Learning Academy. So yay, thank you. The liaison for standard 3 is Janice Zumo, who is at grand jury duties right now. Yes. So I think she said she would be watching us. The working group is Elizabeth Ardstill. Is Elizabeth here? If you're here, just stand up as I read your name. Huda Ayad? Hi, thank you. Tukba Seaton? Okay, is a student in psychology. Carrie Ches, is Carrie here? Who is an associate professor in the English department. Tom Harbison, our director of digital education. Thank you, Tom. Leslie Rennis. Is Leslie here? Leslie, thank you. Professor and chair of health studies. And Owen Roberts, associate professor in MEA. Thank you. Thank you, everyone.
Okay, standard 4, support of the student experience. So I'll invite the two co-chairs if you're here. Mohammed Alam, are you here? Or Carrie Thomas? Oh, there you are, sorry. Thank you. Come stand. Okay, you stand next to me, yes. And you know this office is very busy, so Mohammed's the Assistant Dean of Enrollment Management, and Carrie is Director of Academic Advisement and Transfer, the Academic Advisement and Transfer Center. And our liaison is the Vice President for Enrollment Management, Sanjay Ramda. Yes. And we've all met, so we've had that opportunity to meet in virtual meetings. So our first working group member is Robert Earl, who is Director for the Center of Career Development. Kate Kurtz is a lecturer in the Media Arts and Technology. I think I may have missed a word there. Adele, I know Adele is here in the back there. Adele Kudish. Adele is Professor and Chair of the English Department. Jonathan Matamoros. Yes, there he is. Associate Director in Academic Advisement and Transfer Center. Allison Park is a student in economics, probably busy in her class. Ivan Redamoso is Assistant Professor of Mathematics. And Oriel Straker, CTE Academic Support Specialist at the Learning Resource Center and OAA. Is Oriel here? No. So we just want to thank all the members of this group, and of course I didn't read it again, support of the student experience. Across all educational experiences, settings, levels, and instructional modalities, the institution recruits and admits students whose interests, abilities, experiences, and goals are congruent with its mission and educational offerings. The institution commits to support student retention, persistence, completion, and success through a coherent and effective support system sustained by qualified professionals, which enhances the quality of the learning environment, contributes to the educational experience, and fosters student success. And again, all those words in there that have meaning to you, that's the stuff we have to find the data to support, and there is a whole list of that. So Carrie and Mohammed are definitely going to be well-versed in that, as are all the other co-chairs, and Holly and I. So thank you again for coming up. And if you're counting, there are 7 standards, so we have 3 more to go.
One thing we may not have made clear, and I want to make clear now, the organization of the self-study is that there's the core team that you met at the beginning, which is Brenda and me and Liesel and Musa. And then there's a steering committee. All of the co-chairs and liaisons who are standing and being recognized here are part of our steering committee. And then they are peeling off, and they are chairing the working groups, and then the information flows back and forth between the working groups and the core team. So I just wanted to make sure that that was clear as we were moving forward. We're very, very grateful to our steering committee for helping us get that design draft together and submitted February 14th. It was a happy Valentine's Day. Standard 5 is educational effectiveness assessment. Assessment of student learning and achievement demonstrates that the institution's students have accomplished educational goals consistent with their program of study, degree level, the institution's mission, and appropriate expectations for institutions of higher education. And Vicky Sedeno and Satnik Margarin. Satnik, are you here? Yes, I'm sorry if I mispronounced your name. Satnik. So Vicky is the director of assessment, and Satnik is the assistant professor in social sciences, human services, and criminal justice. The liaison for Standard 5 is Gail Fernandez, our Associate Dean of Faculty. And our working group for Group 5 is Ruth Gurgis. Is Ruth here? who is the professor in teacher education. Jamie Joseph. I saw Jamie walk in the door. There's Jamie, stand up. As a lecturer in social sciences. Fatima Prolu. Is Fatima here? Okay. Trevor Roos. Fatima is a lecturer in mathematics. Trevor Roos is a student in science. Babul Saha. Hi, Babul. Is a lecturer in mathematics. And Eldar Sarajat, help me with the last name. Say it one more time for me. Sarayak. Is Eldar here? Associate professor in ALL. Anthony Bishop. I forgot. I skipped right over Anthony Bishop's name. Anthony Bishop is associate professor in the library. So we thank everybody in Standard 5. Thank you.
And I'd also like to say, for those who have been here in the past, you may not know, we have some pretty active folks who are currently involved with reviewing. So this is actually a peer review process. So Sanjay is involved in peer review of another institution and has done so a number of times. I believe our president is a team leader for an evaluation team, which we will have in a couple of years. He won't be able to do it, right? But he's familiar with the process, as many of you are, but from that perspective. And Gail, who wasn't here then, was on our review team before she became a member of the BMCC community. So and if there are others that I don't know about, please let me know. But we know that we're not alone in the process, and I think we're in good hands all around as long as we just keep doing the work, which is, that's not going to happen. So, all right, so we're moving on to Standard 6, which is planning, resources, and institutional improvement. So would Susie and Allison please join us up here? And Susie Gyamfi is scholarship manager in the Office of Scholarships and Special Services. So students, if you'd like a scholarship, come get her. And faculty, if you have students who want to get scholarships, come get her. And Allison Young is our finance and budget director. And then for this particular standard, we do have 2 liaisons. It's an important standard to have 2 liaisons. So Corey Cush is one of them, Vice President for Information Technology. And he's also the CIO. You may have had coffee with him this morning. It was a little before my wake-up time. And Karen Wilson Stevenson, I know that you were, yes, there you are, right there. And Karen is the Vice President for the Office of Institutional Advancement. And we do have some working group members. And again, if you're here, you can stand. Judy Chung. Yes, thank you. University Assistant Architect and Campus Planning and Facilities. John Gallagher, who I believe said he was not going to be able to be, he's in Albany. Sorry. He's in Albany advocating for the union. But he's the director of IRT. Dennis Gokora, and associate professor in academic literacy and linguistics. Eric Lugo. There you are. Thanks, Eric. Chief Administrative Superintendent, Buildings and Grounds. See, we do have folks from all across the college here, folks you may never imagine that you would see or hope you don't see because maybe that means something broke. And Darren Solomon, manager in the Health and Wellness Services. Darren. And Sophie Wu is a student in science. And I think Sophie said she was not able to make it. Oh, I did. I jumped. Sorry. Rabul Karim Muna is a student in health information. Rabul, are you here? Again, hopefully they're in class or taking care of what they need to take care of. So the institution's planning processes, resources, and structures are aligned with each other and are sufficient to fill its mission and goals. to continuously assess and improve its program and services, and to respond effectively to opportunities and challenges. So again, we're aligning with our mission in all aspects, from teaching through facilities. So thank you again. There you go.
And we've made it to Standard 7. Standard 7 is governance, leadership, and administration. The institution is governed and administered in a manner that allows it to realize its stated mission and goals in a way that effectively benefits the institution, its students, and other constituencies it serves. When supported by or affiliated with a related entity, the institution has education as its primary purpose, and it operates as an academic institution with appropriate autonomy. That is Standard 7, and Katerina Mata and Chris Stein. Katerina is here. Katerina is an associate professor in the science department, and her co-chair is Chris Stein, professor in the media arts and technology. Oh, Katerina, stay up. Joy Tolliver is the liaison. Joy is our Assistant Vice President for Legal Affairs and Labor Relations. Working in that group is Howard Meltzer. Is Howard here? Shari McConan. Hi, Shari. Nathaniel Palmer, Academic Advisor and ASAP. And I forgot to say that Shari is a professor and chair in the MEA department. Leah Reimer. Leah, thanks for being here. Leah is a student in administration. Lydia Rustova. No, okay. Rifat Silam. Is Rifat here? Rifat is also my co-chair in writing across the curriculum. Ronnie Urson. Hi, Ronnie. Thank you. Professor and chair of nursing. And I forgot to say that Rifat is an associate professor in social science. And Sevnich Ustupova. Is Sevnich here? Is a student in health science. All right, that is our 7 standards. Thank you.
So thank you to everyone who made it. I know Katerina ran over from class. She was teaching, and Chris is not here because he's currently teaching this big block here. So, you know, there's a lot of moving parts to this process, and we are very grateful that you were all able to make it today. And this will be recorded and available, so if you missed anything, we're going to put it on the website, and we will have an active website. This will be posted there all along the way. If there's information you have, you can actually reach out to us, but I do want to give you that date. Oh, it's very hard to see up there, so if you all want to take out your phones and type into your calendars now, this is what I have my students do for all the assignments. April 22nd, which is a Tuesday, right after the spring break, so we'll all be well rested, I hope. It's the self-study preparation visit. It is when our commission liaison will be present. You'll hear more about it, of course. We'll definitely advertise it. But there's a forum for students, faculty, and staff. So those of you who are not on the steering committee itself, we have a separate meeting with Tiffany. Anyone else in this room is invited to come to the forum for students, faculty, and staff at 2:30 that day, and that's going to be in room N451. That's in this building if you're a student who's kind of new. And it's important that we show a presence there, but also not just for the sake of filling seats, but because she's here to solicit information that maybe doesn't come across on the page, as well as to answer questions that you may not have felt comfortable asking other people or thought of that day or think of between now and the next time you come to campus. So that's an opportunity for you to do that. And of course, over the next 2 years, there will be other opportunities to meet. We will likely have a town hall at some point, but we're gonna keep it manageable. Let's worry about this semester. Holly and I will worry about what's coming, and then we'll let you know what we would be asking of you. And we're just gonna, again, put our information there. So you can reach out to Holly or myself at any time and just make sure we know what you're, if you're saying middle states or accreditation or self-study. We also did want to say, if you notice, some of the committees are more lightly populated, and that's in part because we do need some more volunteers. So please reach out to us if you're interested in volunteering to be on one of these committees. You can start this year, we can get you introduced, and then the bulk of the work is next year. And some are designed that way partly because they have more evidence to gather, more questions to address, and that's why some of them are bigger. We're trying to keep them manageable. Otherwise, I think we could just again thank the president for having this kickoff today. And we both, I think, I'll speak for Holly maybe, we both really do look forward to the process. I'm pretty excited. I'm a social scientist, so I love a good research study. I won't be in the data stuff too much, but that's okay. I get to oversee it, and hopefully it all comes together in a way that makes us one of the leading community colleges, or so that we get to see that. So thank you.
Yes. Brenda's the social scientist, and I'm the one who tells the story. So we'll work well together. And yeah, we're going to take questions. And the last thing we'll just say is that this is an ongoing process. It's starting now. This is the kickoff. As you know, there's the April 22nd date, and there'll be further dates, and there's lots of opportunities to be involved in what we're doing here as we assess ourselves against the standards, but also, more importantly, ourselves against ourselves, what we've set up with do. There's a microphone right up here in the middle, and if you'd like to ask a question.
Thank you. Good afternoon. I'm Deborah Hart, and I'm the director for the Advocacy and Resource Center. So I have more of a comment and something to think about. In our last strategic plan, one of the goals, the strategic goal 5, and you alluded to it, specifically talked about strengthening the culture of care. And I know you talked about some of that there, but some of this felt very disconnected for me in that, particularly in that goal, we actually had some strategic action plans that specifically addressed basic needs for students, and of which, of course, the Advocacy and Resource Center addresses. So I guess my comment is there was no language at all that gave me any indication that that would be some of the research or some of the issues that may be addressed. So I just wondered if you would kind of think about that. And secondly, the committees, and this is not a voluntary thing, because I did chair committees, so I'm not volunteering, but the committees just didn't seem to have many representation from student affairs. And I'm just kind of curious about that, because it is a department that supports students, outside of the classroom. So just 2 thoughts.
Yes, thank you. By all means, get your folks to volunteer, because this is not a voluntold kind of thing. But yeah, we would love to have people from across the community. We did an initial call in January, and again, right at the start of semester, so I guess that was early January and later January. And we'll continue to ask for more volunteers, and as we go forward, there may not be a need for folks to be on the working groups, but definitely asking for feedback from the groups themselves. And the language that we presented here was everything that was directly taken from our website. So if you'd like, I can share, because it's public document, the Middle States accreditation criteria, so that you can see what types of evidence we would need to address every element of our mission. So our language is specific to our mission, but those standards are there, and that's something that's the data that we will collect next year, which will include all of the initiatives that aren't expressly itemized now, but we'll definitely keep that in mind for all the committees, because this is where it all kind of weaves in. The culture of care is something that's definitely a part of each of the standards rather than a separate standalone item. So we'll make sure to include that, and for folks on the committees, we'll keep that as well. And if you ever have feedback, anyone here actually, but aren't able to work on a working group, we're happy to take that feedback via email, and we'll probably, I think we've discussed having some sort of, if you want to say, suggestion box, a virtual suggestion box as well, because there's definitely a lot that we won't be able to capture every day, and these forums are the place to get it. So we definitely appreciate that. Thank you. Yeah. Yes. Yes, we're going for assessment across the board, yes.
Is it time for me to speak?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Will you include students with vision and hearing impaired in your presentation and what you're developing? Because many times we cannot see and many times we cannot hear. I can do a little bit of ASL as well as maybe pictures and all that, and a lot of times we're not included, and I would like to volunteer to make sure some of that. And I got some books and stuff from the Blind Organization International that I had bring to, see if some of these could be inputted, because some of the students, like programs and even meetings like this, sometimes we feel a little bit not included. So if y'all could include that, I would really appreciate it.
Yes, and if we could get your information so that we can try to keep that as a part of the process, that would be absolutely helpful. For anything that seems as though it fell off the wagon in this presentation, it was not intentional, but that's why we need everybody here to make sure that we keep everything reined in and that we don't miss anything. So again, that's another one of those items that we'll definitely track. Any other questions? Oh. And so we'll talk to you afterwards. We'll get your contact information so that we can have you on one of the groups. Yeah. Any other questions, comments, concerns? I guess we'll add that in there. Is there anything else that you can think? No? All right. So if that is it.
Yeah, I was just stepping in to say thank you. Thank you for the people who have commented. Thank you to the working groups. Thank you to our co-chairs. Thank you to the president, to Liesl, to Musa, to Brenda, to everybody in the room. Thank you so much.